Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Sports World with Patrick. I'm your host, Patrick, and today we've got an exciting episode for you. We are joined by Owen Bartoszkiewicz, a standout player from Northville, Michigan. Owen, it's great to have you. Thank you for being here and joining me today. How are you doing today?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm doing pretty good, so here we are.
And then Owen, we'll start with you. Obviously, Owen, you're from Northville, Michigan, an area that I know pretty well. Also, how did you How did you first get into hockey, and what was your journey like before coming to Lindenwood?
Um, my dad grew up playing hockey. He's a goalie too, so I really looked up to him and wanted to be like him. And then he kind of just like pushed me to be the best I could at hockey. So I mean, being in Detroit, you're around Yost. Been a couple Michigan games growing up, and then going to the Red Wings games, just being around a bunch of hockey players, just makes you fall in love with the game. And I think it's got a good culture and everything. So I think it's kind of hard to drift away from. And then before Lindenwood, I started college at Minnesota, and then last summer, um, decommitted from them. I committed to Western, went to campus there. I was there for like a month or so. Then they decommitted me, and I ended up going to Lindenwood just kind of late in the summer. Had a couple teams that were willing to talk to me, but Lindenwood was the most appealing, and they wanted me pretty bad. And I've always kind of had that golden rule of go where you're wanted. So I just kind of fell in love with them, liked Mucks, liked all the coaches, liked all the guys. So it's worked out so far.
That's obviously awesome to hear. Obviously, Hockey Town and Ann Arbor, those two are like I think the two biggest towns or I've ever been to, where hockey is the number one thing. And obviously you were talking about how you have this philosophy of being where you want to be, where you love to be.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, you said you were at Western for a while and then ended up um, decommitting from there and going to Lindenwood and feeling like it was the right fit. Was it beyond just the academics and all that? Was there something that really stuck out to you about Lindenwood's hockey program? I know it's an independent hockey program. I've been to one game so far at Lindenwood. Obviously, was it also a team culture thing or was it something else?
Um, well, I think just like talking to the coaches and talking to Mox, like his philosophy of what he wanted the team to turn into and stuff, I just felt like there was a big gap that I could fill and really help and kind of give the team almost a culture a little bit of character. And I think I there was a space for me to help the team, and I feel like I could really do that and really like provide for the logo. Um, they proved themselves at ACHA, and I think they're trying to make them a name for themselves at D1. And I think it's a great story to have and kind of make a program and kind of go down as like the starters of Lindenwood.
So, Owen, I do have this question for you. As a goaltender, it's very important, to be mentally in the game, right? And
Yeah.
I know it's not often talked about how mentally exhausting hockey is in general on the brain,
Mm-hmm.
and to the mental health of people. Is there, what do you do throughout the year to keep you mentally involved with the game itself? Because I know if you have a bad game, some goaltenders, that really hits them mentally hard. Um,
Yeah.
and we've seen some of the NHL guys who have struggled mentally when once they've transitioned from being in college to the professional level. What do you do throughout the year that helps you stay that mentally focused all year round?
Um, Honestly, like I've probably had trouble with it in the years past, just because I love winning, like best feeling ever, and then when you lose, it's the worst thing ever. Um, but I think this year, like uh, I've just kind of put my faith first and kind of been a little more religious, and kind of take it how it is. You're not gonna win them all. Can't enjoy the sunshine without the rain. Like it's just there's a couple of things like you have a bad game. It is what it is. You got to move on. Like it's not gonna last forever. Like time doesn't stop for anybody. So I think this year I've definitely matured in that aspect and kind of haven't sulked too much or enjoyed the victories too much, and kind of just stayed pretty even keel.
And obviously, I also want to touch on this because I know it's very important for coaches to communicate very well. Obviously, Coach Mullock, he's joining the program in his first few years here. He was the assistant coach in Michigan for a while there. How important is it to have somebody of that caliber? Who's his alma mater. In general, with us, with being from Michigan, it's really really big, obviously. But how much of that, him, the way he played and his coaching philosophies has helped you in the year grow as a player.
There's a lot of passion. I mean, he's a very passionate coach, and I thrive off of that. Like, I love it. I love when my coach shows that. So it makes me want to play harder and play like I'll play 100 games this year if you need me to play 100 games. Like you're bringing passion every day. Like I love it. Like I'll be there. Um, and I mean, he pushes us in practice. Like I think probably the biggest thing is like effort. Just like year round every day, like giving it your all. Like I feel like work pretty hard and like give it everything I got. But I mean, when he's sitting there and like, come on, like you can make 3, 4 saves, and it's like, all right, like I guess like I can't do that, and then you kind of want to keep going. Um, but yeah, I mean, he's super super passionate and he pushes everybody really well, and I think a lot of the guys thrive off that.
Obviously, on top of that, I do also have this question. Obviously, with everything that goes on in a year, um, how many memorable moments have you had in your career, and are there any really big ones at the moment that you can think of
With what?
in your career? Just wins, losses, or even like just games you've played in.
Um, I I'll kind of go by team just so I can like keep it in order. Um, my junior career, we were in uh, Wichita, Texas, Wichita Falls, with the Warriors. We beat Lone Star the first round of playoffs. That just the whole series is an aspect, like getting chirped by the fans, like them giving it to you the whole game, and then we swept them or we beat them in like 3 games or whatever it was. Um, that was just a great feeling. Like it was a great series. And then I would say probably the next one would be Minnesota when we played Michigan at Michigan, playing in Yost. I love that building, love playing there. Played there when I was a kid, like playing for the Grizzlies. Um, and we swept Michigan there in Yost. Like I close was sick the weekend, so that was a great weekend. Enjoyed that one a lot. Um, And then this year, like you got Notre Dame and Wisconsin; those were both big wins. Um, would like to see a couple sweeps in there, but I'll take the wins for now.
Obviously, winning at Notre Dame was obviously special, and so is winning at Michigan. I do also have this question because I know the children of Yoist or Koi, as they like to say it in Michigan. Um, of course, very active student section. I think
Yeah,
probably the
yeah,
most active I've seen. I haven't been to any other schools. I don't know how Minnesota. I know at Lindenwood it seemed pretty active, but what was the you know obviously you were playing there. Did you ever get a chance to just or did you ever hear them go like the one chant I know they do is ugly goalie. Once
yep,
the goalie brings up their mask and puts it right back
yep.
down, they're like, oh, it's over. but obviously they're very active. I love that. I mean, I went to one game in Michigan, and that's forever going to be my favorite game to go to because it's. I mean, it was rocking in there. I mean,
Yeah,
it
no,
was
it gets
crazy.
loud. Yeah, no, they did do the ugly goalie chat. I love it. It makes me chuckle. Like anytime like there's a chant or anything, like it just makes me laugh. Um, and then I think they had Humpty Dumpty on the bench for their Bob Motzko, the head coach of Minnesota. And I just think it's like that stuff's just funny to me. Like it's just all jokes.
I got to go skate there the day after they played Wisconsin, and I got to see them put Wisconsin Roadkill on the very
Hmm.
like right behind the Wisconsin bench. That was really great.
Yeah.
Um, and then obviously, oh, and I do want to ask you this: what makes the bond between your teammates there at Lindenwood so special as a team?
I think overall, like we're all so close and nobody really takes anything personal. So you kind of, it's almost like you got 25 brothers and it's just like you're almost all picking on each other and like nobody's taking it to heart. Nobody's getting upset about it. Everybody's enjoying it. So I think it just makes the rink a lot of fun. And like all the guys enjoy being at the rink. They enjoy being around the guys. So I think that's probably like the best thing because I've been on teams where guys don't always want to be around the other guys or they don't want to always be at the rink. But it's just when you got 25 jokesters that are all giving it to each other and nobody's like upset about anything, it just makes the rink a lot of fun.
And I also have this question, obviously, with with as internationally as players are on Lindenwood. I know I've had two of your teammates previously on the podcast. I had Arthom or RT,
Yep.
and I had Christoph on the podcast.
Yeah.
How unique is that in the locker room having those international players? Getting to see their different styles because I know Swedish people in general. That
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to impress a Swedish girl for a while now. Um, but obviously they're very quiet or people in general.
Yeah.
Um, and Hungarians sometimes they can or can't be. I know that being having lived in Hungary and having family in Hungary,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's very vocal and all that. But how
Yeah.
special does that make that lock? How special does it make the locker room? And
Um, It's been really good. I mean, Kristoff, like he's almost like the wise older brother. Like he doesn't speak too much. He's not very loud, but when he does talk, like he knows what he's talking about. He's a pretty religious guy and he's really into it. And he kind of knows a lot about the game and really everything. Like I said, the wise older brother. Like he knows pretty much anything and everything. So it's like you got a question. Most of the guys go over to him and talk to him. Artie is hilarious with his accent. Like he cracks everybody up, and he's super passionate. Loves the game. He signed a week or two ago with Rapid City in the East Coast, and we've all been cheering him on. But no, he's great. Like I love being around the guy. Like can be very serious at times, and then he'll like stumble on a word or something, and everybody will crack up. But no, it's been great having those guys.
and then obviously I do have this question I also have this question for you, because I know as a student athlete it can be really hard to balance academics and sports because you want to be good on the ice, but you also have to keep that grade to
Hmm.
be an athlete as a student. How do you manage the pressures of being a student athlete, especially um, being a transfer student and the different ways professors teach at each and every single school.
Yeah. Um, it's been really nice at Lindenwood because I switched from kinesiology when I was at Minnesota, which was just exercise science. Like it's pretty much the same thing. Um, and then I switched to business administration when I went to Lindenwood and accounting and everything. Just all the business classes have been really like they've been really enjoyable. with all the people that I've met and all. It's a lot of athletes in there, so I kind of know half of them already. So it keeps the classroom kind of light. You know, you can ask everybody questions and everything, and then usually like um, my one teacher, Steve Coleman, he's been great. Like he asks everybody about sports. So pretty much half the time we're in class, he's just asking each person, like, "Oh, how was the weekend? Like, what'd you? Oh, you guys played Alaska? Okay, how would that go? Like, was it beautiful up there?" And then he'll like ask the softball girls, ask the rugby guys. So it's like there goes 20 minutes of class. It's like this class ain't too bad.
So obviously you said you were in kinesiology or
Yeah,
at
kinesiology.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Kinesiology. So how much fun is that major to do when you're a student athlete?
I actually really liked it. Like I think that stuff's super interesting. Um, it's a lot of work, and then they have labs on top of it, so it was a little more workload just being as a student. And I mean, you spend 5 6 hours a day at the rink, and then it's like, well, you got 3 hours to study, and it's like there goes my day. So I just kind of wanted something a little lighter and a little more enjoyable. But no, I think that stuff was super interesting. I loved going to class and kind of learning about it. I was really engaged with it, but it was just became a lot. Kind of wanted to have a lesser load. You know, you can always go back to school. You can't really always go back and play hockey when you're older.
Yeah, and so I have this question: did you ever use like? Because I know some guys they get banged up throughout the year. Did you ever use anything from like class, like jokingly when they were injured or so?
Not so much when they were injured, but like stretches and everything. I was like, oh, I have a really good stretch if you need to stretch out your shoulders or anything. And they were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, we'll ask the trainer if we need help.
That has to be a really good environment. But I also do have this question. How important for transfer students is it, to be welcomed into programs? Because I know that can be really, really tough because you're going from uh one group to another group, and then on top of that, you're having to learn a completely different playbook because
Mm-hmm.
the coach is going to coach differently, and so is um the it's very different in how
Yeah.
coaching is, but it's also very, I feel like, tough on you guys as transfer students who transfer to different schools.
Yeah. No, for sure. We had a lot of transfers this year. We had a lot of guys come from different schools, and I think there was kind of a precedent of, you're going to come here, you're going to play our way. Like, you're not going to kind of drift away from how Mux wants guys to play. And I think everybody kind of bought in. Like, I think everybody kind of listened. When you have so many guys pulling the same direction, it kind of helps get the stragglers or who, like, if guys aren't playing as much, it kind of helps them bring them in. And I think early off in the year, we just had so many guys on the same page that there wasn't really any drift away. And I think also, like, everybody hangs out with each other. Everybody messes with each other. I think it's kind of hard for those guys to get separated. I think a couple of guys live in houses and a couple of guys live in the dorm, so we're kind of separated that way, just geologically. But I think overall, like, we're just such a tight group this year, and everybody was so close that it started off really early, and I think it just kind of festered throughout the year where we almost became a family. It seemed like.
Oh, and I'm gonna ask you a few really fun questions here. If you weren't playing hockey, what other sport would you be playing?
Um, Probably a couple years ago, I probably would have said lacrosse. I loved playing lacrosse growing up, especially in Michigan. It's a beautiful summertime sport. A lot of PLG plays, but I think now I'd probably say golf. Um, Definitely matured a little bit in that aspect. Can't get me off the golf course in the summer. You go train in the morning, get your skate and workout in, and it's like, well, it's 80 degrees out. I'll go to the links. I'll hit a couple of greens. Why not?
Um, and then I do also have this question. If you could trade, playing a different position with any other player on the team, who would it be?
Uh, Probably one of the other goalies. I don't really care about scoring goals or anything. I love stopping pucks, so I'll stay back there.
Do you have any like pregame superstitions that you have to follow? I've heard goaltenders are pretty bad on that.
Uh, no, nothing too crazy. I started knitting. I think last year, just to kind of waste time and not be on a screen. I guess that's probably the biggest superstition, just not being on a screen very much. I like to limit my screen time on game days. Um, and I guess gummy worms. I have to have a bag of gummy worms before a game. That's probably the weirdest one. I've been doing that for a couple of years now. So
And then what's your go-to pregame meal that you have to have before a game?
um, probably just like chicken and vegetables, like very basic, super clean, pretty light. Um, Not a big pasta guy or anything like that. Just pretty healthy, pretty lean.
And then if you could coach any NHL team for a day, what team would it be and why?
Ooh, it would probably have to be Pittsburgh Penguins. I grew up watching them. I was a Flurry fan growing up, and just seeing them there. But I think just coaching Crosby and Malkin and Letang and all of them, and just watch them with the puck, I think it'd be really interesting to see.
And then if you could only listen to one song for the if you could only listen to one song before every game, what would it be?
Um, oh, probably "On God" by Kanye. A couple years old, but have I've been listening to that song a lot. So,
And if you could invite three guests to a dinner, who would they be and why?
um, probably Tiger Woods. Great golfer. Very competitive. Like just love his mentality. Um, Dominic Hasek. I mean, the Dominator. Great goalie of the '90s. And then probably, ooh, probably Donald Trump, just for jokes.
um, and then obviously, I guess this is a very fun question. So I'm like, what's one thing people don't know about you on or off the ice,
Ooh,
or would be surprised more so to find out about you?
I don't know. Play a lot of video games, I guess. I'm a big gamer, big book reader, kind of a nerd, like a geek a little bit. Yeah, I guess that.
Now, do you play PC video games or you play
Both.
um?
I have PC and console, so it
Oh,
depends on what the game is.
oh. So did you play any of that NCAA football that came out when it came out
A little bit,
this
not
summer?
too much. Like I played the demo and I wasn't really vibing with it, so didn't get it.
And then obviously, Owen, I do have this question because I know you're a senior or a junior more so. Looking forward to your career, what's one big thing that you hope to accomplish? Being or going to uh in your future. What do you hope to accomplish in the future?
Um, well, with Lindenwood, I think it would be really nice to have a winning record and kind of show everybody like we are a legit program, like take us seriously. I think it would be amazing if we get to a tournament. I think that would be fantastic in the next 2 years. But I think just after that, like I think whatever happens, happens. I would love to sign a pro contract, but we'll just see how it goes. It's kind of out of my control. So
What's one pro team that you would love to go to?
I've been thinking about it lately. Probably Carolina. Just living on the
Really?
living on the beach down there, nice and warm. Um, just away from the cold. I'll stay in the warm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's surprising because I know you probably saw the Miko Rantanen stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um That's really surprising that you would want to go to Carolina.
I mean, Florida would be great too, but they have Bobrovsky. Like they're set for a little bit.
That is true. That is true. Um, and as you were talking there or as you were saying, sorry, for a minute there, obviously there, Lindenwood is obviously on the rise.
Hmm.
Has, like you said, quite a few big wins, including um the Wisconsin win, the Notre Dame win. What was like the biggest thing of all time that really set that apart in in your mind to show people how good the team is? Because obviously your guys' team is really really good. The one game I went to go watch was, it was a really 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 good team. I think you were in goal that day, but I mean it was one of the best games I've been to.
Yeah. I think kind of early on when we beat Wisconsin, it was kind of like, okay, like there's one, like we could get almost a sweep, and then we went lost in overtime to them the next day. Um, but I think that weekend was kind of like set a standard, like we need to play this good every time. And then I think kind of I would obviously Notre Dame. I mean, being that late in the season, like they're playing their A game. They just beat Minnesota in the playoffs, so it's I think like honestly, I'd probably say that one just because they're on their A game. It's not early in the season. They've all played together. They kind of know what they're doing by now, and then for us to get out of there with a win was really good.
Yeah, that was really good. I told Christoph this. I said, or not Christoph. I told RT and Christoph this. I said, because we were talking about how big of a game that Notre Dame game was, and I said, if you're gonna get upset with a referee, one thing that I've always been told is just don't use a language
Hmm.
or just use a language that they don't understand. And funny enough, Artie said that was like, yeah, you have to watch it nowadays. You have to watch it. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh
no,
shoot,
you do. They'll give you everything. I almost got a penalty for looking at a ref. I didn't even say anything.
what?
Yeah, I just kept looking at him. I wasn't even talking to him.
Did he just not call a goaltender interference call?
No, I don't remember what it was that pissed me off, but no, he it was just a really bad call, and I think they ended up going on a power play, and I was just over it. I was like, are you serious? Like you're not gonna call that, but you're gonna call that soft one. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I, I knew I knew not to give it to him, but I was definitely giving him a mean look.
And then Owen, for you, thank you for coming on. Hopefully, thank you for joining me today on this episode. It's obviously special to have Lindenwood on the episode. And then hopefully you guys will have a great season next year. Also,
Yeah, no, happy to join. Thanks for having me on.
Have a